Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into Elon Musk's vision for a future that's been totally transformed by AI and robotics. And here's the kicker. It might be way closer than you think. All right, let's really break this down. A supersonic tsunami. Think about that choice of words. It's so specific. He's not talking about some slow, gradual change. Nope. He's talking about a massive, overwhelming wave that's going to come crashing down and change literally everything about how we live. So what kicks this whole thing off? What's the first ripple from this tsunami? Well, it's not some abstract software in the cloud. It's something physical, something you'll be able to see and touch, something that will be walking right alongside us. And here it is, Optimus. This is the thing that really gets the ball rolling. And you have to understand, Musk isn't thinking small here. This isn't some niche boutique gadget. He's talking about mass production on a scale we've never seen before. He envisions a world with billions of these humanoid robots, and each one could do basically any task a human can. And this is where his vision gets really interesting. It's a huge shift. We're not just talking about robots on an assembly line anymore. No, he's betting that everyone is going to want one of these in their own home. Like a personal C-3PO, helping you out with, well, everything. Okay, but let's follow that thought. If these robots can do literally everything a person can do, what happens to our jobs, to human labor? And this is where the whole idea takes a really radical turn, leading to what is probably Musk's most shocking prediction. And look, he isn't talking about some far-off sci-fi fantasy here. He gives a very specific and honestly kind of mind-blowing timeline for this. He thinks this massive shift isn't just going to happen in our lifetimes. It could start in as little as 10 years from now. 10 years. And here's the absolute heart of his prediction. The whole idea of a job, the need to work just to survive, that could just disappear completely. Work becomes something you do because you want to, not because you have to. It's more like a hobby. All right, so that brings up a massive question, doesn't it? If nobody has to work, how does society even run? How do we get food, clothes, anything? Well, Musk's answer involves a complete overhaul of economics, leading to a world he calls one of total abundance. He's not even talking about universal basic income. He talks about universal high income. Just imagine that. A world where AI and robots are just so good, so efficient, that they can produce enough of everything to satisfy every single person's wants and needs. Anything you need, on demand. Yeah, this quote really sums up the endgame, doesn't it? If you can think of it, you can have it. Just try to wrap your head around that. A reality where the very idea of not having enough of something is just gone, a thing of the past. So, in a world like that, what's the point of money? Musk's take is that money is just a system we invented to manage human labor. So if human labor isn't a scarce resource anymore, money becomes kind of pointless. He argues the only real currency left, the only thing that matters, is energy. Just raw, physics-based energy. The power to get things done. But okay, let's say this happens, this utopian vision of total abundance. It brings us to maybe the deepest, most human question of all. If all our needs are met and we can have anything we want, what do we do with ourselves all day? Think about it. So much of human history, our drive, our ambition, it's all been built on competition, right? Fighting over limited resources. What happens when you just take that away? What happens to that core part of who we are? For a lot of people, their job is a huge part of their identity. It gives them purpose, a community. If you just yank that whole structure out from under us, Musk thinks we're looking at a massive collective existential crisis. We'd all be searching for meaning in a world where we don't really need to do anything. And Musk is the first to admit he doesn't have the answer. He thinks we're heading towards a point in time that is just impossible to predict. A kind of event horizon that he has a very specific name for. He actually borrows the term from physics, the singularity. Like the point at the center of a black hole, where all the known laws of physics just completely fall apart. And that's his analogy for our future. We're getting closer and closer to this point in our own timeline. And once we cross it, we have no idea what's on the other side. And the key thing to get here is that he's not saying this future is going to be good or bad, a utopia or a dystopia. He's just saying it's unknowable, a way of life so fundamentally different from ours that we don't even have the words or concepts to really grasp what it would be like. So think about the journey we just took. We started with a physical robot, something we can picture, and we've ended up at the absolute edge of human understanding. A future with no jobs, no money, and maybe none of the meaning we've relied on for thousands of years. And that leaves us with one last, really mind-bending idea from Musk. If we're getting to the point where video games are going to look and feel exactly like real life, what are the odds that we're the first ones to ever do that? I mean, who's to say we're not already inside one right now?